So welcome back to today's video. So today's video is all about observing YouTube for creators, specifically photographers in 2020. And more specifically what I've learned about having a YouTube channel. So first thing I've noticed is you have to have a coffee brand. No, I'm only kidding. That's as does own make, to be honest, I don't care. After this, I've actually, if you follow me on Instagram, I've actually done a bit of a Q&A. So I'm going to do that just almost at the end of the video. So stay tuned for that bit as well. First and foremost, number one, the thing I've learned most about having a YouTube channel is regular content. And I think that's where a lot of photographers struggle. I think there's a lot of pressure on photographers to produce videos every single week. I know some landscape photographers can do 2 a week, which is great. They split it up between gear reviews and sort of practical photography videos and tutorials and stuff as well, which is great, and obviously it works for them if they can plan that far in advance. I know for me, creating content every single week there is a lot of pressure on that. And what it makes me do is it makes me think ahead about what locations I haven't been to yet were on my list to visit for 2020 or beyond. Whether they're short trips, whether they're long trips, how far advanced do I have to plan? Do I need to make it a long weekend for like a camping weekend? How feasible is that in the winter? Like, there's a lot of stuff to take into account. So for me, making the YouTube channel was more about doing something that I really enjoyed. I absolutely love landscape photography. I would say more than anything, that's where my heart is. So landscape photography for me, if I had to sum it up in a nutshell, it's great for going out and getting beautiful photographs. Obviously, that's part of the drive. That's what makes us get out. I mean, whether you go out and you hike, or whether you go out to take photos, or whether you go out to snowboard, just getting out in the outdoors, or you're a mountain biker, whatever you do, getting out in the outdoors has its own rewards, and everybody knows that. As soon as you step foot in a forest, or as soon as you step foot on your snowboard, or whatever you're doing, there's that release feeling that you get. It's that everything, weight off shoulders, mind clear, everything just feels different and it feels amazing, it feels wonderful. The one thing I've learned about having a YouTube channel is it's made me get outside and made me go outdoors, forced me out rather than sitting in the house watching Netflix, sitting in a dark room with a bag of Rebels, like watching The Witcher, whatever you're watching. I mean, if you're standing in the middle of Glencoe, for example, and it's been snowing and it's really heavy snow and it's just you and you're standing in a sea of white snow, there's nothing like it, absolutely nothing. You can't beat it, especially in Scotland. I'm just being biased, but we do have the most beautiful country in the world. It's got everything. The YouTube channel itself has made me do that because I know I have to create content every week. And for me, that's probably, even though there's a sort of pressure aspect of it, that's probably what I enjoy most. Number two, even in bad weather, make yourself go out. One of the walks that I plan to do this year is up Buchail Etabig. I haven't been up and I haven't seen a lot of photographers up there, but do you know what? See, if you're looking that way down the valley back towards Etabmore and Bearacrulis, you would get the most spectacular views back down the valley, and at sunrise when that sun's coming up, that would be spectacular. And it's something that I would never have considered doing and filming and photographing as much if I hadn't had a YouTube channel. But I think if you don't have that motivation, you don't have that drive, I think you could probably get quite lazy about taking photos and just have your camera with you just in case and then just not bother. But see, because you know you have to create content and you know you have to make something cool and make it exciting and make it interesting, it motivates you in ways that you wouldn't imagine. Another thing I've learned about having a YouTube channel specifically is that patience is key. You are not going to hit 1,000 subscribers in your first year unless you're doing sub for subbing, which YouTube really frown upon. I've seen channels being closed down because they've been caught sub for subbing. I don't agree with sub for subbing. I do agree with creators supporting each other. I don't agree with doing it for the sake of it. I think that's completely immoral and wrong. So most creators who do that are actually paying YouTube for the pleasure of having all those fake little bot subscribers as well, which really annoys me. What I've learned is that real subscribers, proper subscribers who are invested in your channel, will stay, they'll come back every week, they'll comment on your videos every single week, and to me that is worth its weight in gold, and that's why I make the videos, is for those people who are genuine, who are coming back to enjoy the content that I make, and I don't have to pay for it. I will put my hands up and say I do not pay YouTube for anything on here. I know a lot of the family channels do that, but I don't think that's right because it can give a very false impression of how your channel's actually performing. I will never pay YouTube to promote my videos. I will get there under my own steam in my own time. I'm not in a rush. Like I'm not in a rush. If YouTube happens to close down before I'm finished, then I'm not in a rush. I don't have a goal. Like, I'm not going to say I want to get to 100,000 subscribers. I'm not really of that sort of frame of mind. I just want to keep doing this because I enjoy doing it. and if it becomes successful along the way, then that's just a bonus. I prefer that genuine interaction with people who are actually watching the videos. I think that's brilliant. It makes me feel really happy, and it makes me feel, that also keeps me motivated to make more videos. Number 4, so just touched on interaction. It's the absolute best thing about having a YouTube channel, hands down, is meeting and chatting to other photographers, especially if you meet them out on the field. Being part of this community, this YouTube community, makes it also quite worthwhile. We get to meet other photographers. If I go to Glencoe, I'm bound to bump into at least 5, but we get to meet other photographers. There's a very relaxed, alright, how you getting on, you get anything good? It feels like you're going fishing sometimes, but it's like, do you get anything good? And it's lovely. You get to chat, you get to share best practice, you get to share tips, you get to share your own techniques with people. They get to share them with you. You learn all the time, which is, you never stop learning. It is brilliant. That's probably my favourite thing about having a YouTube channel, is actually meeting other photographers and getting to experience that excitement, that joy you get when you get a really good picture. That is so worth it. It's brilliant. Another thing I've learned from having a YouTube channel is that you do not have to have the latest gear to make a video. Absolutely not. You could literally make a vlog on an iPhone with broad daylight and it would still be a vlog, and it would still be successful if you put the right sort of creativity into it. It'll be your story and your videos that will resonate with people. It'll be your personality that will resonate with people. So if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you haven't done it yet, but you quite fancy doing it and you just want to do it to get your story out there, all I would say to you is just do it. Don't be put off, don't be intimidated by people who walk about with 1DXs and the latest aperture lights and things like that. My equipment cost under £1,000, all of it, including my camera, including my microphone, including my tripod. But just for filming, just for what we're doing just now, I'm going to give you a quick tour. So this is my space. There's my kitchen, there's one of my lights that I'm not using, there's my main key light, there's my IKEA table, dining table, there's a wee ambient light down the back, there's some of my photos up there. So at the moment, this whole set has been lit by an LED light and this thing here. I would much rather have a softbox on that because it's just light spilling everywhere. You can see that it's hitting all the walls, it's hitting my projector screen. Right, so that's the light that I use. I got this on Amazon for about £15. It's just a fluorescent daylight balance bulb. That's it. This stand here is just a B bracket that I got off of eBay for about £4, attached to a normal light stand, which costs about, I don't know, I think I got that. And this one, which is exactly the same setup, £100 or something. So that's it. This is a Manfrotto tripod that I use. It's a very lightweight one. I think it's called a BeFree travel pod. There's my phone, my coffee. That's there for some ambient light. That's there for some ambient light, and there's one light on me. I was going to use 2 lights as a key light, as a hair light, but I couldn't be bothered. That's all I use, one light. Sometimes I'll use a hair light, depends how dark the room is. Some people prefer to use just a window. I could show you how that would look. But that's just window light, so that showed you the difference there. Obviously this does help a little bit. That's quite nice actually, but I'm going to just put this back on because I can't see. One Canon EOS M50. Now the Rode mic cost about £50, the Canon cost about 600, the tripod cost about £60, and the lights are about 100. So under £1,000 and you can have this kind of setup. And if you have a spare room or you have a dining room, and this is obviously my dining space now, so it's very quick and easy usually to put everything out. The thing to take away from that is just to get as creative as possible with your videos. For me, the photography side was never really an issue, but the videography side, I remember when I was studying, I did a part of the course was actually to learn the basics of being a filmmaker. So for me, when I think about a filmmaker, I think about Edgar Wright, I think about Quentin Tarantino, I think about Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, all the classics. This sort of style of shooting that they have is absolutely fantastic for taking you to places that you would never even dream of. I think in particular from a comedy point of view, Edgar does it in like 5 shots. It's brilliant. For YouTube especially, I think it's really important to learn the basics of filmmaking. I think it's fine sitting down, sticking a camera down and just chatting to it, which is exactly what I've been doing, and I haven't been very creative today, I have to admit. I've got a few nice lights on the go, but apart from that, I've not been that creative. I think it's important to learn the basics of filmmaking, learn about transitions and learn about editing the transitions to make sure that they flow as seamlessly as possible and stuff. I did a wee quick snippet in my last video where I wanted to just try something, and I tried a bit of an Edgar Wright style intro to my video for the woodland photography video. It was great fun to shoot. It literally took 3 or 4 seconds per shot. It was like jumper, phone, trainer, jacket. It was brilliant and I really enjoyed making it, and it made me think, right, I need to start doing more of that sort of stuff. It's all about the noise and stuff as well. Like, sound effects are great, like you can bang to your heart's content. In fact, there's a YouTuber that only makes videos about banging stuff off tables. I don't want to break my stuff, so I like my stuff, but sound effects are great. So now I'm using software that I found. I edit on an iPad Pro, and I use a software program called LumaFusion to edit my videos, and there's a sort of plugin that you can get, which you can subscribe to, called Storyblocks, and I use Storyblocks. This is not sponsored. I use Storyblocks to add sound effects and to add all the sort of whoosh noises and stuff like that. If you do hear me making stupid noises, it's usually me. For effects, I usually get all my effects from that, and it's that development I would never have really bothered with if I hadn't been doing YouTube. I think you have to constantly work to improve yourself and learn new things, and you should never be satisfied with your work, ever. You should keep learning, keep shooting, and keep collaborating with other people to share knowledge and tips and just improve yourself all the time. So I think YouTube is such a diverse platform where we can all exist, hopefully use all these things and use all these tools to create something that other people will enjoy. It's to inspire other people just to get out and shoot and look at their own photography in a brand new, unique way. I think that's pretty much the purpose of why we do what we do. I put a call out on Instagram and I asked people to ask me questions. Right, so I've mentioned that down to 5 questions. I don't think I've got time to do anymore. And the first one is from a YouTuber and Instagrammer called Wadgercatcher, Adam. And Adam asked me, where do you look for your inspiration? I don't know, I think inspiration comes in many, many different formats. I think from a cinematic point of view, I look at, for my own videos, I look at people like Edgar Wright, Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino. From my photography point of view, I look at artists, I look at my friends, because a lot of my friends are photographers. I look at YouTubers. Gavin Hardcastle cracks me up. He is so funny to watch. He's just got a really natural comedic talent that just explodes onto the screen. He's brilliant. But yeah, there's loads and loads and loads, and I'm recently discovering more Scottish photographers, which I hadn't came across before. I don't know why the algorithms don't work, because I put everything Scottish on my videos, so you'd think it would recommend more Scottish people to me. And I think it's important to sort of reach out to other photographers from your area as well, because then you can sort of meet up and chat, and yeah, and that's also going to encourage you to get out more as well. Mari FR21 asked me, do you like to travel? Yeah, I do. I love to travel. I've been to quite a few places around the globe already. One place I haven't been to is America, but I'm quite scared of America just now, so I may just stay. For places in Europe, I've been to France, Belgium, Holland. I went to South America, so I've been to Argentina, Paraguay and Brazil. But most of all, I love to travel in Scotland. I'm trying this sort of travel within your own country and discover all the sort of nooks and crannies of your own country, which I'm finding that really inspirational at the moment. It's opened my eyes to all these new places in Scotland that I'd never heard of or seen before. Having a YouTube channel has definitely helped sort of motivate me into making these sort of itineraries to go and visit these new places as well. Very soon I'm hoping to go up to Perthshire again. Mel, let's make a date, because there's millions of places in Perthshire that I haven't been to, and she's pretty much your go-to travel guide for that, so I'll be calling on you soon. So the next one was from Lara Pops. Lara asked me, your name's not Lara Pops, her name's Lara, but she asked me, what's the worst thing you ever had go wrong during a shoot? I don't know actually. If you're talking about landscape photography, I think falling down a hole, I think that was probably the worst thing that's happened to me, because it was really sore and I had to use my tripod as a crutch to get back up to the car, which was at the top of a hill. It was like that. Plus I had to drive 2.5 hours home from the Lake District, which was a bit rubbish. So the next one is from Stephen, 1989. What's your favourite landscape image that you've taken? That's really hard actually, Stephen, but this probably could lead me on to something I could maybe mention at the end. I've just recently set up, as part of our website, a store which sells all my favourite images. So there's about 20 pictures I've chosen from the last couple of years, and they are all my sort of cream of the crop photos that I absolutely adore. If I had to pick one out of all of them, I love this picture. I'll quickly tell you a wee bit about this picture. So here are you, there you go. So that is Ben Ann, that is Loch Katrine, and that is me. This was quite an iconic picture because I've been up here 3 times now and never had this light ever, and I think that's quite important, and it's one of those, like, it's a constant lesson to me, because it's one of those things that you can go to these honeypot locations in terrible light and you'll never get great photos, but if you keep going back and keep going back at different times of the day, different times of the year, you'll get goldener that looks like that. I mean, look how stunning that is. It's one of the most inspirational photos I've ever taken, plus it's got me perched like a mountain goat. But this is probably my favourite photo from end of last year into this year so far. And I got it framed because I loved it so much. But this is, yeah, it's definitely a constant inspiration to me because it reminds me that you can go to the same locations hundreds of times, and if you go there in the right sort of conditions, you can get some stunning light and you can get some really epic photos, and that's why I keep going. I hope that gives you a bit more of an insight into me and what motivates me and what keeps me going and stuff as well. And I hope it's given you a few hints and tips for your own YouTube channel and helps you with your own research and stuff as well. I think it's really good to benefit from other people's experience. We're all going through the same thing. So leave me a comment, tell me who inspires you, who your influences are, what makes you get up and shoot images like I just showed you that make you really happy to look at. Let me know and let's start that conversation because I think it's so important. So I'm going to wrap up the video just now, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I know it's a little bit different again. And if you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe, and until next week, I'll see you soon. Bye!